Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and whatever else is watching. My name is Nick and this time I want to give my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch Live presentation and their Treehouse Live event that they held the day afterwards, or at least a couple of hours afterwards. First, I want to give credits to all those translators who had the utmost difficult job of live translating what was said on the stage for those investors by those Japanese people, and they had to translate or listen, translate and talk out loud and try, well, to put some enthusiasm in it. It didn't went too well, but they had a difficult job because they didn't know what was coming themselves, but not, at least not exactly. So kudos to them, but it also shows how terribly wrong this presentation was, because it was also boring as shit when it was not a game that they showed off. This presentation they could have had for the investors and kept for the investors. For the rest of the world, for the consumers, they could have better held a Nintendo Direct, just like Iwata would have and probably would have done. And this is where Kimishima and Iwata's difference comes out, and I surely missed Iwata's presence here. He had a lot more charm to it than Kimishima, and Iwata wouldn't have shied away from talking English, and thus making a direct for each region itself. So the presentation itself was just, no, it was, I hope they never repeat this again. Go back to the Nintendo Direct, or let Reggie or someone of NOA do the international version of the presentation for the consumer, and leave the investor presentations out of the consumer market. For the rest, I think this presentation, the Switch concept was really awesome. They showed off that they inherited everything from every generation. Although it was interesting that they really ignored the analog triggers that were prevalent during the GameCube era, so that makes me think that the Nintendo Switch doesn't have a analog system. They gave a few specs on it, being that it is 2.5 or 2.5 hours to 6 hours for battery life. That, well, there is a kickstand. Well, the different moduses, but that was already apparent from the preview video. There were L and R buttons in the rails of the Joy-Cons, so the little Joy-Cons are small Super Nintendo controllers with an analog stick, compared to the NES controllers that the Wii was actually having. So those Joy-Cons there is an IR camera in it, HD rumble, which I have to try out, but sounds really interesting. And there is no region locking on it. That is big for Nintendo. No region locking. You can import games from anywhere you want. And that is huge. The price is around $300 and 30,000 yen. I have looked around, and we had to look our local retailers for Europe. In the Netherlands, it goes around between 310 and 350 euros, which, due to the scarcity and a great number of pre-orders, can rise really fast. The online services is something I was not looking forward to. or I'm not looking forward to it, because no, I'm not planning to, even though it's free at first, I'm not planning to pay the subscription fee that they are asking in the fall, because they are not offering anything that is of worth. I am not paying it for Sony and Microsoft services. I don't really have the online multiplayer in me. I like the single player more. And all the other stuff that they are actually offering, one SNES or NES game for free playing that month, only that month. After that, you have to buy it if you want to play it any further. And for the rest, the services that they are offering are through a smartphone app or a tablet app and not on the Switch itself. And those features are actually features that smartphones have free alternatives to. So no, those online services really do not look good to me. For the rest, well, the games are looking a lot better. However, the concept of the Switch is really what I look forward to. They come with two bundles, one actually the same things, only one has a different set of colors. It's the boring grey one or the Frankenstein red-blue one. I wish there was a blue one or a red one as well, because I really want the blue one, or even different colors such as green, but well, you can't have everything. No packing games, although one of the games that they showed were really only for packing games, because yeah, it just wasn't that good. For the rest, the third parties that came on, that was boring as hell. The Square Enix and the Atlas trailers they showed, they didn't have any people showing. They were fun, the game trailers. Todd Howard came on in a pre-made video, so he wasn't really there on stage in person. Showed off Skyrim. Everyone knew already that what it was. It could be I have conflicting news messages, heard things. It could be the year-old or the years-old original edition, or the month-old remaster. So yeah, for the rest, all those people on the third parties on the stage never showed off games. They could have, but they showed nothing. They were a waste of time. EA with just saying that FIFA is coming, yeah, FIFA 18, maybe FIFA 19, they didn't commit to anything. Suda51, I know he's a legend, and for investors maybe interesting, but yeah, he only showed off a DeviantArt image of some kind of character of a game which should be a cult hit, but I've never played it. And yeah, the third parties was just abysmal. While actually during the Treehouse live event, third parties were great. They showed off good games. Nintendo themselves started off with 2 games when they started with the games that showed off motion controls, which I personally like. I like motion controls. I love them. Although the first game that they showed off, 1-2 Switch, yeah, that's not a game. That's not even a budget game. That's just an electronic extension on drinking games or something, because it ain't even worth buying. They should have had that one as a pack-in game, because, oh man, that's just an awful, awful, awful game it looked like. ARMS, on the other hand, the other motion control games, looked awesome! I really want to play that game. However, that's not a launch game, and it comes somewhere in spring 2017. It was colorful, it was energetic, and that's the game I really want to play. It's really, that's my kind of game. I really want it. Yes, it looks like it could have also been Punch-Out, but this looks like a really interesting new IP for them. For the rest, they showed off other titles such as Splatoon 2, which is a sequel, not a port, like the rumor said. And yeah, it looks just like Splatoon, but it has new maps, new items. Just yeah, it looks awesome. However, due to the online paywall, I think it could get a little bit tricky after fall, and that's why it is lucky that it comes out during summer. For the rest, we had Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We had Super Mario Odyssey and a new Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild trailer. Drool Fest! Awesome! I really love those trailers. Those are games I really want to have. And I expected also that one of the two, Mario or Zelda, would be a holiday title and the other one would be a launch title. And the most obvious, because Zelda has been anticipated for so long already, that would be the launch title. So Mario, they could spend a little bit more extra on it and push it to the holidays for some extra sales during the holidays. And that was just awesome. They also showed off during the Treehouse Live event Mario Kart 8, which to me looked like what Mario Kart should have been. They showed off primarily the battle mode, and that is what battle mode should have been in the first place. But the deluxe version contains all DLC, 4 new characters, 3 new cards, and even new items. Or better yet, old school items brought back. And it just looked awesome. And it was just surprising what it all showed off. Then from third parties, they showed off Ultra Street Fighter 2 from Capcom, and they showed off Super Bomberman 2 from Konami, of all developers and publishers. Konami has the license to Bomberman after Hudson, went away, got bankrupt, and Konami is bringing it back. They are not Konami doing something good during 2017. Well, that's something new. But it looked interesting. I have heard some negative things about it, and Bomberman R will be a launch game. But Ultra Street Fighter 2, oh man, that just looked awesome. I want to have that game. I want to play that, and there's no launch date yet, but I'm hoping also during launch. I hope it is somewhere in March. Finally, Nintendo also revealed a little new IP called Snipperclips, which is actually a new game for them. It is a puzzle game for 1 to 4 players with 2D platforming elements in it, and it looked charismatic. It looks charming. It looked like it was fun. Although I'm wondering how it will play solo, single player, if it still works as well. So for the rest, they also had during the Treehouse Live a little bit unboxing, or at least setting out what they were doing, or what you get in the box when you buy a system. And they also mentioned that the system can handle up to, at least 265 gigabyte microSD card, which is hidden under the kickstand and therefore easy interchangeable. So you can change that. So it is a big SD card that you can put in there, although they are still hell of expensive. But you can change that, which makes it also easy and change it, not like the new 3DS that you have to well, screw it open in order to change it. So that's also an advantage. The L and R buttons are on the Joy-Con controllers themselves, making them more like Super NES controller options. And they also mentioned that all the control features are optional. Even in ARMS, the game that I'm looking forward to, that they are primarily showed off with motion controls. Even Mario Kart 8, that they showed off with that Wii wheel. Yes, they also make a Switch wheel, a very tiny one, and for that. But those are optional motion controls. There will also be button controls, and that is something I like. So, but I did miss a lot of the technical specifications, and I'm not talking. Well, I missed them during the presentation, and also a little bit during the Treehouse Live. But the technical specifications, I'm not talking about how many RAMs are there in there, what is the clock speed. Those are for developers, and developers will be making, and third-party developers will be making games if the system sells. Well, if they can sell games on the system, then it doesn't matter how fast something is. It is always about the cost and profit that they can get from it. That is all that matters. If they can make a big profit, they will make games for it. So if the system sells, then they will be making games for it, regardless of what the price for it is. Because the Wii wasn't the biggest system either, and it was flushed with a lot of third-party. Even shovelware was put on there. So yeah. There was, however, I did miss what was the capacity of internal storage, what the microSD card, how much was there, can I add with the dock a external hard drive to it, all that kind of stuff. Ethernet adapter, is there going to be an external? And that's also something that's going to kill the online services, because Wi-Fi online play over Wi-Fi is just sucks. That's just going to suck. I can tell you that, and the dock doesn't have an Ethernet port, as far as I could tell, or they did not mention it. And that was something I missed during those presentations. Something that is for the consumer, the technical specs for the consumer. Battery life is something that's concerning. 2.5 to 6 hours is very short, but okay. Also something that I missed, they did announce Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which seemed like a new world, a new universe, or maybe it's in the same continuum as the Bionis, years after, how it changes or something. But I actually wanted a Xenoblade Chronicles X2. I am waiting for the continuation for that game. I know that it wasn't really the point to go beyond the experience of Alma and your own character. But the game in question just left so many open questions at the end that I want those answered. That's why I want Xenoblade Chronicles X2 and not Xenoblade Chronicles 2. However, I still want Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because Xenoblade Chronicles is just an awesome franchise, which I want. For the rest, the sizzle reel at the end of the live presentation was awesome. It showed off many third-party games, which were also available on the show floor for people to play, and I'm wondering why they didn't include those in the live presentation instead of those awful third-party developers standing on there and saying that they supported it, but they don't have any game actually to show, which could also be saying we want to support it, but we're actually Yeah, we're only waiting what the sales numbers are. All in all, honesty, the Nintendo Switch, I already pre-ordered mine. And I hope you will do the same, because I think this system is worth buying. It shows a lot of promise. Many of the information that came afterwards, press releases that came afterwards, shows many games that are worth playing. Has Been Heroes looked like an awesome game that they showed off during this Treehouse live presentation. This Gaia 5, I know it is an older game already. Fast RMX from Shin that also made Fast Racing Neo and all that. Sonic Mania is going to come on there. I Am Setsuna, Steep, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Siberia 3, a NBA 2K. There are many games. Rhyme, Pew Pew Tetris for those who like puzzle games. It's just, yeah, there is a lot of in the future worth looking forward to. Maybe it's not the biggest lineup. There are not hundreds of games that you can get at the launch. But be honest, how many games can you actually pay for at the launch? To be honest, not that much. So if the launch only has to have one game that you really want to play. And for me, that's Zelda. Super Bomberman R is also one that I am looking forward to. And in March we have Has Been Heroes, Snip Eclipse and Fast RMX that I'm also looking forward to. ARMS comes in spring. Mario Kart in April. There is so much, and I hope Ultra Street Fighter 2 will also be during those launch windows. I think there is going to be enough in the future for me to get excited about. And that's why I have already pre-ordered my version of the Switch. And I usually just say don't pre-order software. However, the limited edition of Legend of Zelda that they showed off during this event, I pre-ordered it. I went against my own rules. This was the exception. I want that. The European version doesn't look as good as the master version in the US, because it only has the Oddyssey and the statue, the Master Sword statue. But still, I want that. I had hoped we could also get the carrying case, but well. I live in Europe, so I must say I am excited for the Nintendo Switch. However, this live presentation, I hope Nintendo never ever repeats it again. The Treehouse Live is something is worth looking at, and if you can find it on YouTube, Nintendo has it on YouTube. Watch it. It has many interesting things. They are let's playing all those demos. But the presentation itself, please don't do this ever again, Nintendo. It sucked. Kimishima, if this was your idea, please take a little note from Iwata's book and leave it up to a Nintendo Direct. Use Nintendo Directs. And now it's just waiting for the next Nintendo Direct, which will be soon and which will show off more Fire Emblem. And I am hoping more news about more games will be coming out between now and March 3rd, which is very soon when the Nintendo Switch will be arriving. So I am psyched. I am hyped. And I will be getting it. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the Nintendo Switch, what you thought of the presentation, if you watched it, what you thought of the Treehouse Live event, if you had seen it. Remember, this was a Treehouse Live event, not a presentation. Not an hour-long presentation or something, but yeah, let me know what you think of it. I am curious. Maybe we can discuss some things. I have more to say about it, but then this video would go on for a couple of hours. So this is it. I thank you all for watching, and I hope to hear from you again soon. Until then, goodbye, and I'll see you back in another video. Bye!